Hello everyone, my name is SpectrumOwl, and today we'll be playing more Sims 4. Welcome to our 30k speed build. Yes, we are creating a smaller home this time to figure it all out. As we are in here right now, you might notice the other starting home that we created last Sunday. And, you know, today is a little bit different. I talked about it before, where I was like, okay, I want to start creating smaller, like better furnishable homes that don't cost me like half a year or you know, like multiple sessions of 2 or 3 hours to actually furnish. And I figured, you know what, I see I went through, as you do, I went to Pinterest and I was like, okay, how can we, is there something that I can find? And to my surprise, or to my, well, surprise is not even the right word, to my happiness, I would say, there was, for sure. Yeah, I'm really happy to find more things on Pinterest, and they are a lifesaver for this series. I won't lie. Yeah, so I figured, okay, let's go for a smaller home. Let's go for like a 2-bedroom ground floor home with, you know, perhaps which would have an attic in real life, perhaps, but not here now. And I'm like semi-happy with how it turned out. I think it went really nice. I also think that, you know, looking at it a little bit later, I was like, okay, maybe I could have done a few things different. I'm also realizing that one of the things that I do as I'm building things, as I'm thinking, I have a little bit of a move about the camera type of thinking moment. Perhaps it's my autism, perhaps, where I, you know, I sometimes do rock back and forth to like disperse all the you know, all my impulses, but or just my impressions, and as a way of stimming, right? So I think it's a way of me to do it like that, where I basically just move the camera back and forth as a way of thinking about something. Yeah, no, you guys must have seen it a lot more, and I only just now realized. So yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the style of the home. It's a little bit more like on the inside. I wanted to go for a more modern vibe with actual white, with like a sort of a light wood with white and black interior. And it has to be something. I felt like it had to be just something neat, right? Where it just had to be something that you could buy as maybe a starter home. And I originally intended it to be a starter home, so I believe that in the beginning I was like trying to like keep it up to like 20 grand, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's like probably something that you can do as a sort of a starter home. And then I realized, like, okay, my plan, my intentions, it's just a smidge too big, basically. It's just that much too big. I also wanted to include a fireplace, which is, you know, like it's you just grasping money at that point. So no, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that I, you know, include a fireplace, keep a little bit of the interior of the intended house on Pinterest as well. And yeah, no, it's it has a very interesting idea where it has like this very big main space, and I'm really happy with how it turned out later on. I did change the walls a little bit because of course I had to simify it all. But yeah, no, I was pretty happy about it. And there are some things that I would love to change. There are also some things that I'm like, you know, it's fine if it doesn't. I was like, okay, you know, it's perhaps a little bit too clean for my liking, and a little. There's nothing that our Sims can do other than watch TV on the lot. They can do laundry. I added that in, but you know, like in essence, it's basically a very simple home that you can read in, or like, you know, just chill in. I didn't even give them I didn't actually give them a single, you know, single storage space for books. I'm completely blanking on the name of it now. But it's fine. Basically, I was like, okay, what are they gonna do? And I didn't know. So that's something that I think when I'm looking at it right now, I'm like, okay, maybe that should have changed. But one of the things that I do enjoy here is that and you'll perhaps see it in a bit. Perhaps it's going to be a long while later. Maybe it's already happening. I actually start to do some work, you know, with my with landscaping. I realized, okay, I need something here, right? That will like make it a little bit more cozy. I was struggling because I avoid this section basically of the buildings things like the plague. Luckily the people on Pinterest did like put up some things that they could add, and I was like, okay, it doesn't have to be too big. It just has to be something that I can, you know, like defend. It has to like make a little bit of sense. And I even used some like, I really tried my best as well with trying to figure out like, okay, how will we, you know, make it a little bit more natural instead of like the whole clean green that our other places have gotten. So I think it worked out really well. I think actually, I think you know, it's very low key, it's very casual. But I'm really enjoying the fact that I am putting these houses next to one another, and that I can already see some form of, you know, improvement. Some form of becoming better, and at least like getting the outside right, getting the outside done. I felt like as well, like the way that I did the roofs, it was already a lot better. I mean, it's not like amazing, but I felt like, you know, somehow it makes sense. And that's what I've been trying to find, like how do I figure it out? I also was like, okay, I'm gonna try my hand on laundry. I never really use that in my gameplay, because I find it sometimes just, I figured from everything that I've seen in other content creators, I was like, okay, it's just very tedious. So I was like, you know, that's not gonna be the way to go for it, you know? And that is basically the reason why I was like, okay, yeah, this is not really what I want to do in my playthroughs. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna build a home, and I feel like it should have it because it's something that should be at a home, right? It doesn't have to be a laundry room, or it doesn't have to be something big, or it doesn't have to be like functioning completely. But I was like, I want to at least include it to give you that idea. And I was like, okay, it's a little bit more of a you know, luxurious house for people that are clearly like, they either are more sophisticated, or they're like, you know, they only have one child or something like that. They are a little bit luxurious, right? And I was like, okay, well, what would they need? Trying to keep the cost low. That is the fact here. But I was like, what would they need? And it's one of the reasons why I was like, okay, yeah, they would need a laundry room, but they would also need like a little bit of an indoor walk-in closet, you know, for just general space for like the way to live. And I was like, maybe they don't have a child at home living there. They might have, you know, just a normal visitor's room or a guest's room that will, you know, solve that job for them. So I felt like, yeah, you know, I felt like I included the right things. I looked at a few things as well in terms of like, how do I do the bathroom? How big will it be? And I will say, I cannot get rid of a particular sense of bathroom style. I know, I don't know why. I only know that it is something that I just keep on doing. I found it in most of my houses now, and I didn't really know that I had this sort of a style going on with bathrooms, but it is what I created. And yeah, perhaps I'm not really too happy about it, but you know, it works. And yeah, I feel like it has been really good. So it's been something that I've been experimenting with, and that's just basically the best way, I think, to go about this. As I said, it's like before, I want to really start learning by doing, instead of like going for the perfectionist route that I'm sure many people have a problem with as well on their side. Is, you know, I don't want to like, I want us to do this by doing it and not learning it by, you know, just trying it out. So, you know, that's something that is very important to me. So, yeah, it's something, you know, that's just worth looking at. And I'm currently like in that venue. I never really built something with in the kitchen with like a sort of you know, an island, a kitchen island. I never done that. Like, I know how it looks. I've seen them in real life. I just, you know, like really like getting it in there. Like, it takes a lot of space, and like, what do you do with it then? You know, it's and it's only a small one even. So it's like, okay, how would that work? You know, so I was experimenting with that, trying to figure out how to do things as well. And I'm not too unhappy about it. You know, it's a little bit more. It's too big in my opinion, in a way that I don't really like. But I think it's, you know, it works just fine, honestly. And that's how I look at it right now, where I'm like, okay, yeah, it really does something. And you know, as I go, this is just becoming like, there are things in here that I can learn that I you know, didn't do optimal in the last speed build, for example. And there are things that I did do optimal in the last speed, for example, but not in this one. You know, there are just some things that I do that will never be, you know, exactly right, right? That's just not the way learning or a learning curve works. So I'm really happy to look at like the differences and look at where I go and look at where I am, and you'll see me struggle with these cabinets. You'll see me struggling for a long time. I won't lie, it was actually a little bit funny to me how much I was like, okay, the colors don't match and I don't know why, and it just looks weird, but how do I do this? I was like, also like, okay, I want to make it a little bit more interesting, but then you have the gap, and you know, everything went just wrong. And then I was like, okay, is this then it? Wasn't really happy with it, and then I was like looking at it, and yeah, you know, like kitchen cabinets are just tough, honestly. Like for real, like creating a beautiful kitchen in The Sims is something hard. And I figured, okay, you know what, we have to change some stuff around as well, but it's just a beautiful basis that you need to have, and that's okay. I'm looking at things right now and I'm thinking, okay, you know, another problem that I have a lot is using decorations like cluttering. I've been using more and more of it, but like, how do I make something feel naturally cluttered versus how do I make something feel like what I'm doing right now is just filling up space? You know, how do I use it instead of letting it look used? So that's basically what my biggest issue was. But I figured, okay, you know, it is what it is. Some things figured out. They had to be a barbecue with such a beautiful thing, so I added that in as well. And I think that this is actually where we basically like were doing some finishing touches. I think that we were still looking at some beautiful things, and yeah, we were then like, okay, let's do a little bit of a tour, right? So like I said before, it's the same style of bathroom that we have. I also realize now that I'm like looking at it, I'm like, okay, I'll go through every single room and I can show you guys in detail what I'm doing. And I also realize it doesn't work when you're speeding up things. So yeah, no, that's that. It's something that I will figure out in the next video. But I'm pretty happy with how it looks and how it's working. And yeah, I hope you guys had a wonderful time watching this episode. If you did, please consider dropping a like and subscribe. It would help me out tremendously. And please leave a comment down below with your tips, tricks, and comments and questions, of course. I will happily answer and hear them, because I need them. Well, I hope to see you next time. Goodbye!